Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Political Job Interview, where I interview candidates running for election. I'm Vincenzo Calla, the host, and today I take on the role as the boss, giving a job interview to today's candidate, the Honourable Maxime Bernier. Maxime is the leader of the People's Party of Canada and is the PPC candidate in the Portage Lisgar by-election. Thank you, Maxime, for your time, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, and I'm very pleased to be with you. That would be fun to have that job interview.
Well, it's great to have you here today, and let's get this job interview started. So as with any good job interview, I'm going to start off with an opportunity to learn more about Maxime. So can you tell me a bit about yourself and your story?
Oh, yes, I'll try to be short, but I'm 60 years old, so I did a lot during my life. That being said, I worked 19 years in the financial sector in Montreal. I was VP of a bank, VP of an insurance corporation. And in 2006, I decided to jump into politics. And I was elected in Beauce, the riding of Beauce in Quebec. It's a rural riding south of Quebec City. And I was elected, I was running under the Conservative Party of Canada banner. And I was elected as a Conservative in 2006 for 13 years. And during that time, that was the Harper government. I was Minister of Industry, Foreign Affairs Minister, and I had a lot of other responsibilities. In 2017, I decided to run for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada, and I wasn't successful with 49% of the vote. And so Andrew Scheer at that time in 2017 was elected as the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. So I tried to work with him for 15 months after the leadership. And Poliev told me that he won't take any of our ideas for the 2019 election, because he said, they were popular with the membership of the Conservative Party of Canada, but your ideas are not popular with the general population, so we won't take any of your ideas. And I said in 2018 that, I have to resign. That party is not conservative anymore. That party is just conservative in name only. And I said the Conservative Party of Canada is intellectually and bankrupt, intellectually morally bankrupt. And so I believe that I was right at that time, and I'm right, it's the same thing today. And we created the People's Party of Canada in 2018. We had our first election in 2019, and we created that party based on 4 principles: individual freedom, personal responsibility, respect and fairness. And all our policies are in line with these principles. And so the platform is always the same one. What I said in 2019, I said the same thing in 2021. And I'm saying the same thing today, that by election here in Manitoba, in Portage, Lisgar. And that will be the same platform also at the next general election. So, and personally, I can tell you that it was, I believe, the best political decision that I took to create the People's Party of Canada. And personally, what I like to run. I'm a runner. I did run marathons, and I did run 100 kilometers in 12 hours in my former riding in Beauce to raise money for a food bank. And we raised at that time $165,000. So that's my sport, running. I like to read, and when I have time, with my wife, I have 2 daughters, Charlotte and Megan. Charlotte, she's 24. Megan, she's 21, and a proud father. And actually, now I have an opportunity to be elected back in the House as the PPC leader. This by-election will be June the 19th.
So I want to ask a bit about that decision now that you took to, obviously, maybe we'll talk a bit about the founding of your party, but why did you decide that it would be the right decision for you to go to Portage Lisgar in Manitoba and run for by-election there in hopes of getting a seat to be represented in the House of Commons? Why Portage Lisgar, and why did you decide now is the right time?
Yeah, it's the right time because there's an opportunity for me in that by-election. I don't have to wait until the general election that will happen only in 2025. So why Portage, Lisgar? It's not my first time here. I travel a lot across the country. I was here a couple of times ago, the last couple of months, and we built a big team, and I'm very pleased with that. And it is a rural riding, like my former riding in Beauce. So we share the same family values, and that would be the theme of my campaign. And also, I can tell you that it's a good thing for me because there's also a nice francophone community in this riding. So, and I must admit also that we did very well at the last general election in this riding. Our candidate had 22% of the vote. Solomon did a very good campaign, and I did the biggest rally at the last general election in this riding. We had about 3,000 people. So what I'm telling you is we share the same values, and people in the riding are real free markets, populist, and conservative-minded people. And the competition would be with the Conservative Party of Canada, and that's for me they're fake conservative, and I can give you another example. And I believe that people in Portage Lisgar has an opportunity to vote for their values, to vote for a candidate that will fight for their values, and that's me, and that's the BPC. So the conservatives are just conservative in name, and I can give you an example on, for example, the abortion debate. I just did a press conference on the abortion, and I said, we need to be part of the civilized country and having a legislation on abortion. Today in Canada, you can have an abortion a couple of hours giving birth. So that must stop. But the conservative did nothing the last 35 years on that subject. And I believe, I believe in life. I believe that we must promote life and not killing unborn babies after 6 months of pregnancy. We need to stop that as soon as possible in late-term abortion. I'm against that. So that's why I table a bill. I said to people in this riding, if you vote for me, I will table a bill to protect the unborn after 6 months of pregnancy. So if you're a conservative, you must be able to vote for that because we are the only country in the Western world that didn't have any legislation on abortion. All these European countries has legislation on abortion, and usually they are regulating abortion at the second trimester. I said, at the last one, when you have a baby that is viable, when the life of the mother is not in danger, you must not have the right to do an abortion at that time. So we'll have debate like that, and during the campaign, I will show to people in this riding the best way to have these subject and policies discussed in Ottawa is to elect for the first time and making history for the first time a candidate for the People's Party of Canada, myself as the leader.
So let's talk a bit about now the job. Let's talk about the job as an MP, a job you held for for many years and in Beauce as their MP, and what you bring to it to come back as an MP. So can you tell me a bit about your experience as an MP, as a minister over the past from 2006 until 2015, and some of the experience that you have that you're bringing to the people of Portage Lisgar and that you would bring to the House if you're elected again?
Yeah, as you know, I'm in politics at 60 years old, first of all, because I like to be with people and I like to have discussion with people and to bring, a national debate on a subject that the mainstream media and the establishment politicians won't speak about, subjects that are important for the future of our country. That's why I'm in politics. That's what I did in politics. Actually, when I was industry minister, I did a big regulation in the telecom industry. That's why today there's more competition and the prices of cell phone and telecommunication is going down because of that competition and because of our reform. So, what I'm bringing on the table is an experienced person and a person that knows what we must do for our people when you are elected. When I was elected in both, I did door knocking every 2 weeks after the election because for me it was important to know what are the most important issues for our people, and the best way to connect with people is at the door, and that's what I did. So I'm doing right now in this country. Also, I will be door knocking and meeting people. And so when you know the preoccupations of your people, you are able to represent them in the House and speak for them. That's what I did for 30 years for people in the riding of both, and I'm ready to do the same thing. So to debate these ideas, to present legislation, and to try to have the best policies for the future of this country. I'm saying, you need to have a smaller government in Ottawa that will respect people, that will respect the Constitution, that will respect, our way of life. And that's not the case today. So I'm ready to bring that. And the first bill that I will table, if I'm elected, it would be that bill to regulate abortion at the last trimester. So after 6 months, and I will bring other ideas also. And I believe that during this campaign, and I believe that I will be able to have the support here in people in Portage, Lisgar. Because the question is, what is the difference to elect for the conservative candidate? You won't be able to do anything, and he can say a lot of things in the writing, but when it'll be in Ottawa, he will be silent, like Poliev did for other MPs. So, you won't be able to make a difference. But if you vote for me, if you vote in line with your values, it's a win-win for people in this riding because, I will support their family values. And if Pierre Poliev is acting and has the courage to be a real conservative, I will support him. So it's a win-win. And that will be what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying to people here in Portage Lisgar.
So I want to talk a bit about the people that you want to serve, the people of Portage Lisgar, and since you're a party leader, a bit about the people generally Canadians and some of the things you want to do for them, because I know that it's a by-election in Portage Lisgar, but if you are elected, you would have a voice as a party leader in the House of Commons. So I want to ask, what is something, I know you've chatted about abortion and your plan for that. So what are some other things that you would like to bring forward that the people of Portage Lisgar need, that the people of Canada need, that you would like to get done if you are elected?
You're right by saying that it will be a new voice, a common sense voice in Ottawa after the election if I'm elected. And that's important because people must understand that we are not voting to form a government. So, some people are saying, oh, we want Trudeau out. But that's not the subject of that election. After that election, the Trudeau government will be still in government. That election, it's about a person that will represent you in Ottawa, ready to represent your values. So what would be the subject of our discussion here in the writing? Like I said, abortion would be one. Also, all that, gender ideology, the wokeism that is everywhere. The gender ideology. They are teaching our kids at school that maybe a little girl can be a little boy, or a little boy can be a little girl, and there's more than two sexes. There's only two sexes. That's based on our biology and science, but that's not the case in our school. And we are saying to maybe a young girl who is maybe a tomboy that if you want to have a new name at school, we can give you a new name. So we are implementing confusion in school, and we are also sexualizing. The sexualization of our children is happening in our school. There are some books, and they want to teach sex in young children, 7 and 8 years old. So we must stop that. But nobody is speaking about that. You know, the Conservative, the NDP, the Liberal, and the Green Party of Canada won't speak about that because it is not politically correct. But for us, there's no such thing as political correctness. I'm saying what is true with with facts, passion, and conviction. So that woke ideology is toxic for our society, and we must go back to real conservative family values and fighting for common sense. That would be something that I will bring during this campaign, and I believe that is in line with people in this riding, the common sense.
So before we go on to the last question, I want to ask you something about sort of your party and the system we have in Canada. I know in Canada we have first past the post where there are seats elected based on parties formed, governments formed based on seats won, and I wanted to ask you, would you consider um, thinking about or supporting a change in the electoral system because the PPC would, under the current system, may have a percentage of votes, but your party won't have seats because of the votes in, say, a general election. Would you consider supporting a change to maybe a proportional representation or an alternative system that would give you more voice in Parliament?
Yes, you're right, but it would be difficult to implement because if we don't have the support of these establishment political parties, it won't happen. But yes, because like you just said, we had 5% of the vote at the last general election. I'm not asking for 5% of representation in parliament, but we must put more representativity in our system right now. Maybe 5% of the vote, maybe it would be okay and I think fair if I have 1% of the representation in parliament. But that's not the case because of our system right now. So answering your question, yes, we want to have that debate on a new electoral system where you will have more proportionality in that system. But I don't want to change 100% our system. I think we're a democracy. We have a great system. We can improve our electoral system, but I don't want to throw our system to the garbage. It's a good system. We need just to improve it by adding some proportionality in that system. Yes, that's part of our position for the electoral reform. We are for it.
And finally, now I want to ask you a bit about some of your accomplishments over the past years. So, what is one accomplishment that you have personally achieved that demonstrates why you would be a good elected official for the people of Portage Lisgar if they were to choose you as their MP on June 19th?
Because I proved to everybody that I'm not a traditional politician. I'm not a career politician, and people are fed up with politicians. And if you look at what I did, I always said and do what I did. If you go on YouTube or Facebook, you'll find an old video of me in 2006 or 2010 about I don't know the gold standard or lowering taxes or immigration. And I'm saying the same thing today. So I'm not like Pierre Poilievre, a career politician. Poilievre was elected at 25 years old. Poilievre never had a real boss, and now he's about 42, 43. So his only goal is to be in power, and he will do everything to be in power. That's why he doesn't have any conservative conviction. So that's the opposite. I'm doing politics differently, based on conviction. And if what I'm saying today is not popular or politically correct, I'm okay with that. The more I will speak about our ideas, because I believe that I have the best vision for this country, the more support we will have. And actually, it was and it is the case because we started the party in 2018 at 0%, 2019 1.6. We almost tripled our score in 2021 with 5% of the vote, saying the same thing. So, that's the PPC, that's me, and what they see is what they have. So I'm telling people in the riding, you know who I am, you know what I want to do, and I will do it. And actually, that's I want I like I like to fight for people who are represented, like I did for 13 years, and I was very successful of doing that. And that will be the same case for people here in Portage, Lisgar.
So thank you, Maxime, for your time today. It was great having you, and I'm sure the viewers have enjoyed hearing what you have to offer to them. Before we go, I just wanted to ask, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we end off today?
Yeah, I'm saying to Canadians all across the country, maybe we don't have a by-election in your riding, but if we have a by-election, because this June 19, we will have 4 by-elections across the country in different ridings, one in Ontario, one in Montreal, 2 here in Manitoba. So I hope that if there's a by-election in your riding, that you will vote. And if you vote, I hope that you'll vote in line with your ideas. You know, what is the if you don't vote for what you believe, you won't have what you want. So I'm asking people to do that. For other Canadians that won't vote June 19 because there's no by-election, we will have a general election in 2025. And I just want you to look at what is happening in Ottawa and be concerned if you don't like the way that our country, what is happening in our country right now. I believe that it will be time for you to be part of the change and to be the change. And when the time will come, to express your point of view. And I hope that at the next general election in 2025, our participation rate for that election will be very high. That's important. And also that Canadians would be in line to vote for their values. And I believe the PPC can represent, will have a candidate in every riding in this country. So every Canadian during the next general election in 2025 will be able to vote in line with their values, will be able to vote for the BBC candidate. So stay tuned. If you want to say more about the BBC, go on our website, peoplespartyofcanada.ca, read our platform. You know, you won't waste your time because it will be the same platform in 2025. So if you like it, I hope you support us. If you don't like our platform, it's okay. You know, vote for another party because we won't do any compromise with our ideas. So I want to thank you for giving me that opportunity to speak to your viewers.
Well, it was great having you, and like you said, election day is on June 19th. There are 4 by-elections, one in Portage Lisgar where you can vote for Max if you support him, and there's a few other by-elections. So make sure to go check with Elections Canada to see your voting eligibility if you live in Portage Lisgar or any of the other by-elections. So make sure to check with Elections Canada for more details. So the Political Job Interview is a VCalla production. Until the next video, I'm Vincenzo Calla, signing out.